We needed someone with a skill level exceeding 120 to be able to get to grips with questioning these two gentlemen. Only one man fits the bill. Raise your weapons, please, for Mod Mark, ladies and gentlemen.
Just like me, there's two things that must happen at Runefest. The first one was, there's got to be a balloon drop with some party hats. Yeah. The second thing was, I really needed to find out why Andrew Gower was so obsessed with cabbages. And thus, Runefest and RuneScape Genesis was born. So, we've had all sorts of questions that have been sent to us from you guys, from the forums, from emails. We've worked out all the questions, we know exactly what we're going to ask. So sit back for the next 40 minutes while you learn how RuneScape was born. So, we'll start with question 1. Andrew, what first inspired you to write computer games?
Yeah, I don't know if I was inspired as such, I just started doing it. When I was 7 years old, my dad bought me a ZX Spectrum, which is a sort of 8-bit computer similar to Commodore 64 for people not from the UK. And when you turn that on, it goes straight into the programming language. You can't really use it without programming it. So I started writing simple games on that, and then I moved on to doing computer games on the Atari ST. Some of my very early efforts whilst I was at school there. Embarrassingly bad graphics on some of them, so Text Adventures. Always been interested in that sort of thing. Flea Circus, that was a game that is still actually on the Jagged site today. I originally wrote that in ST Basic when I was about, how old have I been? 12, 13, something like that. So I've always loved writing computer games, basically.
Awesome. So this game's a bit like Lemmings, you'd say?
Yeah, exactly. The reason I wrote this game was I was reading all these magazine reviews about this game that just came out called Lemmings, and I really wanted to play it, but I couldn't afford it. So I decided to write my own copy, and I've never actually played the game, so it came out a bit different.
Right, cool. Right, let's have a look at another one. So tell us about this one.
Yes, so this is the early version of Vertigo, another game that's on funnel.com. It's been rewritten about 5 times. This is about the 3rd version. This is the Atari ST version as well. It's called Palettes Painter back in those days. This is another one I did. I was getting a bit older by this point. I think I was about 17 when I did this one. It's not at all inspired by Doom. No. Again, I wanted to play Doom. Couldn't because it was a PC game. I only had an Atari ST. So I was forced to write my own copy.
And here's one of my favourites.
Yes. There's elements, you could of sort of RuneScape in this game, the graphical adventure I did. This one was inspired by Monkey Island. And I've always liked sort of point and click graphical adventures, and a lot of the way the quests in RuneScape work has been inspired by this sort of gameplay.
This is one of my favourite clips that I've seen over the last few weeks. I don't know if you noticed, but he just picked up a brick, and here he is approaching the jewellers. I wonder what he's going to do. Or is he going to throw the brick?
I think not how you win the game.
Oh yes, he's thrown the brick. That would be like, oh no, it's the fast! So we go there, super spy. So, Paul, did you always know you wanted to get into games? What sort of things were you doing at that age?
To start off with, Andrew was the one who was the programming whiz who came home from school every day to code. I didn't quite feel I had the patience for that, but slowly it came to be that Andrew was writing computer games, and then he was just starting to write a computer game, and then there wasn't any content to it. So I got involved with helping Andrew from a fairly early age as well. Quite a lot of the games which you've seen up on the screen, I was involved with either level design or graphics work. So the Fleas game which you saw, I designed nearly all the levels for that. The Super Spy game with the throwing bricks through the window, I designed quite a lot of the plot for that. It's possible the brick through the window was my excellent idea. We've played all sorts of games to draw our inspiration from. I'm a gamer of all sorts, not just computer games, but board games and card games as well. These are some examples of some of the games which we played when we were younger. The Monkey Island has been a big inspiration for us in terms of how you write a quest and the sorts of chat puzzles and object interaction puzzles which you find in RuneScape. There's quite a lot done from that. We also did a fair amount of role-playing. Our dad got us into Dungeons and Dragons and started dungeon mastering for us when we were probably about 8 and 6 or something young like that, because our dad's also very much into his games, so we're very lucky to have a father who would actually encourage us to play games constantly. So then I started designing my own worlds for role-playing sessions as well. So I enjoyed making little maps. And
we've been making games sort of together, and along with Ian, who also helped out with graphics and level design as well. Pretty much growing up all the way up to Runescape. Runescape was just another game we made together, just like all the other ones.
Cool. So, Andrew, how did you first get into browser-based games?
So, browser-based games, I just got to university and I just discovered this newfangled thing called the internet. And I remember a rather famous, it didn't do much at the time, and I've never lived it down, but one of my friends sort of said to me, oh, you're going to get a network connection in your room, and it cost something like £20 a term when I was a student. And I remember saying to him, no, I don't think I'll bother, I can't see me using it, to be honest, and I don't see this whole internet thing, and I've never lived that down. But once I changed my mind on that, and I actually did get an internet connection, I was approached by a friend of mine who was a little bit older, who was was working for a company called Games Domain, and they wanted some Java-based games for their website. And they said to me, could you do some games for us? We really want some games. We'll pay you, £300 if there's a slot machine game. And I didn't know anything about browser-based games or Java at that point, but I heard £300, and so I said, yes, I know how to write Java games. Basically agreed to it, and then very, very frantically taught myself how to program Java, so I could actually deliver the product, and that was how I ended up getting into it, and this was one of the games I did for them. Some people here might remember this.
Cyber Wars. Anyone remember Cyber Wars?
Saber over there.
Nice. So, Andrew, tell us about the early days of RuneScape. Why did you want to make something like RuneScape?
So that came about from playing sort of text-based modes. When I was at university, there were these things you telnetted into. It was like a text-based adventure game, but it was multiplayer. And all the same concepts that you get in modern MMOGs, but text-based. And I really loved the fact that you could log in any time, 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's always people there. The world carried on living and breathing without you. And the fact that you could play it from any computer, you didn't need to install anything. And I really wanted to make my own. And originally RuneScape was going to be a text-based game, so I was just copying the